Welcome back to Talking to the Walls. I'm your host, Giovanna, and this week's episode is part two of 10 things I wish I knew when I was in high school. Number six. Number six is don't expect to find your significant other, okay, in people who have yet to decide what they want for themselves. Let me repeat that. Do not expect to find your lifelong partner, your significant other, your Prince Charming, your Princess Charming, whatever you identify with, okay? In people who still have yet to decide what they want for themselves. Now, I'm not saying not to fall in love or not to be in a relationship. I'm not saying that. Have fun, earn your heartbreak, achievements, do what you need to do. But what I am saying is that lower your expectations because God knows that when I was in high school and I fell in love for the first time, I don't know why I thought that this person would be my one and only. Maybe it's because of the way society makes us think that, Disney movies is like the girl gets rescued, they fall in love. Aha. Or like I don't know, there's a whole bunch of shows and other movies and just things in general that like romanticize like first love and like accepting and overlooking red flags in that person so that you can have a picture perfect relationship. And holy shit, don't do that. Please don't do that. um you know there is so much more to life than just your love life, okay? If we're looking at a pie chart that's consistent of your life, the pie chart, half thing, whatever, like the portion of it that is your love life would probably be less than, it would probably be less than, I don't know, 20%. It might be, if we're being generous, it might be 20%. But realistically, for me, I know my love life is probably 10% right now. So in high school, my love life was practically non-existent until it actually existed, if you catch my drift. And I'm not saying you don't need to have a love life. What I'm trying to say is don't expect to find the person you want to spend the rest of your life with at 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Okay, because when you think about your lifespan, you're just starting. You're just starting life. High school again is like that prologue. It's the character development. It's the like little spice you need before you can actually start, whether you start the game, you start your journey, whatever you want to call it, you start the book. It's the background information of the character, of the person. Where did they come from? A broken home, this, that, a loving family, this, that, whatever. That's what high school is. So for you to expect to find, I don't know, your spouse, your partner in crime for the rest of your life, this, that, whatever, at 14, it's a little bit unrealistic, but it's not your fault, okay? And I'm speaking to my old self because I don't know why I thought that I would like end up with a high school sweetheart for the rest of my life. And you know what? I'm so glad I didn't, because if I did, I would be in such a toxic situation. It would not even be funny. So, just advice from me, and probably a lot of people can agree to this too, is that just like who you are when you get out of high school is completely different than who you were when you started. And even now, I'm at 21 because my birthday just passed. Woo! Go 21, even though I don't drink. Looking back at my 14-year-old self, there's a lot that I just would change completely if I had the perspective that I do now back then. And it's interesting because now when it comes to love, I'm not looking for it. uh, I'm not looking for love. I'm casually looking for it, if that makes sense. Like, I'm not opposed to going on a date and stuff like that, though I'm not openly like, let's date around, woo. And there's nothing wrong if you do that. It's just not my preference because we're talking about me right now. But yeah, don't expect to find a significant other in people who have yet to decide what they want for lunch, who are, indecisive. This is a point in your life. In high school is a point in your life where you're still developing. You don't know what you like, what you dislike. You haven't been put in super uncomfortable situations where you have to make a decision before you even get put into that place. So it's like you're developing your strengths right now, and what you do want, what you don't want. If you even want like a typical relationship, if you want an open relationship, you don't know yet. So don't look for your partner, like your actual lifelong partner, and people who are still growing, people who are still developing, people whose minds are completely selfish because right now they're thinking about themselves, how other people view them, their own insecurities and their own future, and whether or not they want to be a doctor, or if that was just an idea pushed onto them by their toxic family. I'm not getting personal here. My family's not toxic, God bless, but it can be for certain people. So that brings me to my seventh point, and this is a point I think everybody will agree with. Even people I think that don't listen to this podcast, people probably 110% agree with this point, and that is that there are many ways to have a good life, to make like to meet the quota of being rich or like living the good life, whatever you want to call it, okay? You can get there without having a degree, without having to go to college, without having to go to trade school. You don't have to go to college to be successful, okay? And there's a lot of success stories out there on the internet. If you walk into Barnes and Nobles, Walmart, there's a whole bunch of like autobiographies that talk about their success. I don't know any off the top of my head, but literally, or you could just open TED Talk. People go on there and talk about their life all the time and really cool stuff and how they made it, from nothing to something. And, you might be like, haha, yeah, right, but my family would kill me if I didn't do this, whatever. I get that, and a lot of times it can be your family that is toxic, that doesn't allow your mindset to be a bit bigger when it comes to seeing that you don't need a degree for certain things. For example, my friend Anthony, I think he went to college. We just met recently, so maybe it's not a good example, but I'm bringing him up anyways. He was doing this job that he wanted to quit before COVID happened. He had plans on quitting because he had recently rediscovered an old passion of his. And he was telling me that, before the pandemic, he was content, this, that, whatever. But then he started slowly hating what he was doing. And then he rediscovered a passion of his. And what I'm talking about here is the stock market. And okay, this can be a hit or miss for certain people. And I'm not going to go into too much detail, but he was telling me how he forgot how interesting it was for him because he loves to like, analyze, and he's really good with like finances, and I'm not going to say his life story, whatever. So he was just like, yeah, like I used to be more into it, and then I got this job, and then this job kind of like separated me from that. And then now that I don't work there anymore, I'm, giving it my all and like really learning. And he's been doing that for like the past 6 months to like 6 to 8 months, and he's been loving it. And he's been making money, I'm not gonna lie. He's been doing his best, and I'm proud of him. And it's just so interesting because you don't have to, like, even if he didn't have a degree, like the stock market is something like if you were to study it, find the right people, you can make it big. And you don't have to necessarily go into the stock market. You can also, let's say, if you wanted to start a YouTube channel, play it smart. It's going to take a few videos before you get to 1 million views. It's going to, and even if it's not YouTube, if you want to do like Twitch and stream and make money that way, or you want to do OnlyFans, or you want to do something else, it doesn't have to be typical, you know, you will get there as long as you believe in yourself, as long as you're consistent, as long as you don't give up and you don't allow the negative people to get in your face and always bring you down. You will get there and you will live a good life, okay? Because a good life is not attached to a bachelor degree. It's not attached to a certain job. It's not attached to a certain environment, okay? A good life, I bet you anything right now, a good life will change as you get older. In your own definition of like a good life, that's going to change. My definition of a good life is being financially stable, being able to be happy and content with what I have, whether it's a lot or not. Okay, I'm not materialistic, but as long as I have food, shelter, and my mom and my dad are there for me, I think I'm pretty content with my life, and as long as I'm a doctor and I'm doing what I want, whether that's studying to pursue the path of medicine or I'm like legit a doctor, woohoo, I'll be happy. And that's a good life for me. some other people have the definition of literally just traveling in their van, which I think is super cool and I would love to do if I wasn't pursuing medicine. Um, it's just, it's cool. Like everybody has a different definition of a good life. So find out what that means for you. Because when I was in high school, I don't know why, I always thought like, and even before high school too, like when I was younger, I would just get so impatient with the schooling system because I've known what I wanted to be. I've wanted to be a doctor since I was like 5. So I would always think everything was boring if it didn't have to do with medicine, whether or not people realize that or not. I did mentally, which was funny. But if I were to tell my 14-year-old self, hey, Joanna, you don't have to be a doctor if you don't want to. There's other ways around it. It's okay. You will be accepted. Your family will accept you. Thank God my family is like super supportive. Like they'll look at me like struggling with like organic chemistry and I'm like crying. And they're like, Joanna, it's okay. You can change your mind. You don't have to be a doctor. It's okay. And I'll be like, no, I'll be a doctor. Whether or not I'm still alive, I'm going to be a doctor because if I'm not, then I'm dead. And they're like, okay, stop, you're being drastic. But it's true. Like, that is my determination. It's like, I'm either dead or I'm a doctor. There's no in between. And so, some people don't have that. And you don't have to go to college. You could go to trade school. And if you don't want to go to trade school, then, you can do you. Whether that's like start an online web comic, which can make good money because some of them get turned into animes. You could be a fashion designer. You could have your own Etsy shop. You could sell stuff on eBay. You could do the same for Amazon. You could literally just do anything you set your mind and your heart to, but don't half-ass it. That's my only advice to me in high school is if you decide not to go down the path of medicine, whether it's me or you, whoever I'm talking to of the past when I was in high school, don't half-ass it, okay? If you're going to do something, do it like 110%. Like be sure you want to do it and do it. And if you don't know yet, then definitely research into it because there's just so many different things you could do. This this leads me to my next point, and I know I've been saying this throughout the entire podcast episode, so don't hate me, but these next 3, 8, 9, and 10 are all hand in hand, and I think you'll agree with me. So number 8 is that your life continues outside of school, okay? Grades do not define you. They do not define your intelligence, okay? There are so many people who fail the current academic system in the United States, and they have invented so much things, like so many things that are so useful, okay? Um, don't sweat it, okay? If you get a C in statistics, if you get a C in physics, if you get a B, it's not the end of the world. If you get a D, an F, okay, maybe an F is pretty bad, but a D, whatever, don't sweat it, okay? Don't sweat it because you don't have to be amazing at everything. Shit, I'm not amazing at everything, and I was not amazing at everything in high school either. There was a few classes that, oh my god, would make me cry. Whether or not people knew this in high school, I would stay up and I would study extra hard to make sure I could at least get a B on my exams that were really, really hard for me at that time because there are certain subjects, and it wasn't even the subjects, it was the way the teachers taught it. And this is my constant struggle, even now in college, is that there are certain subjects where it makes sense when you read it and study it yourself, but when you're in class with the teacher, and you're forced to be there in high school, right? Because you have no other option. In college, you can walk out and study it yourself. But when you're in high school, if you don't understand the way the teacher's teaching, that's a big issue. And that was some of my issues for certain classes. I can't remember off the top of my head. I think one of them was statistics. I think one of them was AP stats that I struggled with, which was funny because I was kind of good at math. But you're not gonna die if you get a B, if you get an A, if you get a C. You're not gonna die. It's not the end of the world. And high school Giovanna me thought grades were everything because I did not really have a social life because I only had like a few close friends, and there's nothing wrong with that. But then when I got to college, I finally dropped my stupid narrow mindset that like grades were everything because I don't know. I was going through a crisis mentally. It was what I defined in my moment. If my life right now is a timeline, from I want to say I guess 2017 to 2019, maybe some of 2020. I would call it the collapse of the Roman Empire for me mentally, for many different things, many different pillars in my life. But, you know, you're you don't have to be good at everything. Grades are not everything, you know. I've met so many intelligent people the past 4 years, I would say, since I've graduated, since I was 18. And not even 18, 17, in different circumstances. And some of them, they weren't able to afford colleges or trade schools and stuff, and I would meet them randomly, whether it was like a coffee shop, the post office, something, and they're just some of the smartest people I know. And even certain people that I went to high school with, they didn't pursue anything, and they were some of the smartest people like I have ever met. And so for them to not have a degree, it doesn't mean they're stupid. It doesn't mean, that they don't know 1 plus 1. It just means that they just chose not to, and they are smart, and they chose a different path in life. And this leads to number 9. And number 9 is, once you graduate, you'll realize just how everyone is running the marathon of what I call life in their own pace, okay? So I don't like running. I'm that girl who walks around the track. So I am walking my life marathon, and these people are running. And it's nice. I'll clap for them. I'll cheer them. Everybody can run ahead of me if they'd like. That doesn't mean I'm in last place. It just means that I'm taking my time. And that's something I wish I paid more attention to when I was in high school, because it would have saved me a lot of comparison to people who just weren't worth comparing myself to, because we weren't similar in the slightest way, which is ironic. But the marathon of life, and you're pretty much relating to what I'm saying right now. I can just feel it. But I don't want to be married at 21 and have 3 kids. I know people who are married and have kids, and I'm not putting them down. They're amazing parents, and I love them and I support them so much. And I send them baby gifts all the time. And I love it. I love it. But it wouldn't be me, because that's not the pace I'm running at right now. I have yet to fall in love again. I have yet to see myself traveling the places I want to travel, the countries I want to travel. Like, I want to go back to Europe again. I want to work on myself. I want to grow as a person before I can become a mom, before I can become a doctor. Like, there's a lot of things I see myself doing. It's not to say that the people who are running at a different pace are wrong. No one's wrong. Everyone here is in their own right to do as they please. So don't compare yourself to the person next to you, in front of you, behind you, because everybody is running at a different pace with their own mind in a different place. Wow, that kind of rhymed. But I'm thinking of certain things that I see as a priority, and other people have different priorities. So why am I comparing what I look like and what I feel and where I am academic wise, physical, I don't know, financial, whatever you want to compare to someone else who maybe worked harder than I did, or I don't know, they got lucky, or they, I don't know, look prettier than me, whatever. I don't, like, that's not relevant for you in your life. Like, I wish I had told myself that at 14, that, like, I don't care what Sarah and Ryan are doing, if they're getting married, if they're getting divorced, if they have kids. I don't care. I don't care what the people around me are doing. I will support you, whatever you do, but embrace your journey, embrace the highs, embrace the lows, embrace everybody you've met. You have yet to meet the people who are fake, the people who are there for you. Embrace everything and anything that comes your way, because you know, I think, and it's cheesy, ready? You're gonna cheese. Um, Everything happens for a reason. Oof. I know, a really cheesy line, but it's true. When I look back at all the things I've gone through for me, I know that it was almost like a butterfly effect. If I hadn't done one thing, then all these things wouldn't have happened and I wouldn't be the person I am today. But I'm glad I'm running at the pace I'm running, because I don't feel I don't feel pressured, nor do I feel stress. I feel content. I get happy, I get sad, I get mad, whatever, but I am content with where I am in life right now. And I think being content is something really big, because a lot of people are either stressed, a lot of people don't know what they want anymore. And and just finding a place where you feel like you can breathe again is very nice. So just acknowledging that, give yourself credit for all the things you've done. Give yourself, actually, yeah, give yourself credit. Like, actually understand, wow, I am, for example, wow, Giovanna, you're 21. You made it. If I look back when I was 14, oof, there were so many things at 14 I was stressing about that now I literally can't, one, recall, and two, I really don't care about anymore. And it's funny because if I didn't care about those things at 14, I probably wouldn't make it to who I am now, because I was a very studious person. I was very into my academic career. And now I know academics isn't everything. Love life isn't everything. There's more to life than just that. And so going back to who I was, I just sometimes I feel like I don't do a good job acknowledging all the hard work I put in and all the effort, the blood, sweat, and the tears. Oh my God, the tears that I put in to get here. And you know what? You might not do that too. You might forget about that. Back then you were wishing and hoping that you would get to where you are today. So please acknowledge where you are, acknowledge the growth, the process, the amazingness of who you are, and the fact that you made it here. I'm happy to have you here. The fact that you are listening says that you are amazing and that I am proud of you. Okay. I know you don't give yourself enough credit. You're probably like me. You don't think about it because you're always thinking ahead. And it's okay to slow down and take a breath, bro. You need one. Um, I am proud of you and thank you for being here because I appreciate you. And you know what? In case no one has told you, um, the world needs people like you. We don't need people who are fake and people who are plastic and people who are trying to mimic everybody else, to try to fit in. Please don't fit in. Okay? We don't need any more plastic. Okay? It's polluting the earth. We need someone real. We need someone who is you. Okay? There is more room for you. There's not enough room for plastic. We don't like it. So acknowledge yourself, appreciate yourself, be kind to yourself because you deserve to be here. And, you are so unique. And the fact that you're doing things at your own pace says that you are very strong. And I don't know, I appreciate it because, sometimes it can be very hard and you don't always know what people are going through. So the fact that you're still pushing yourself forward, even though sometimes you don't want to, it says a lot. Okay. And then here's my last point, which is number 10. And this is something I wish I would have done a lot more back in high school. Again, I feel like I didn't have much of a life in high school because I was always so hard on myself. For what? For what? I don't know why I was, but I regret it. It's probably one of my many regrets, is that I was too hard on myself in high school and I didn't actually enjoy it back then. But number 10 is enjoy, all the opportunities people give you, whether it's like your guidance counselors, the field trips, or just literally opportunities, whether it's with people, football games, anything, that's an opportunity. Enjoy it. Take advantage of it if you can. Whether it's you have an idea, but you don't know if people are going to, like it, go for it. YOLO. No one is going to care. People, if anything, people are going to look up to you and admire the strength, the courage, and the bravery it takes, the perseverance, the hard work that goes into it, whether it's YouTube, gaming, photography, writing. Oh my God, me. I love writing. Have I published anything? No, because I'm slacking, but those are a few examples. Go for it because no one cares. Everybody, when you're in high school, is so focused on themselves, trying to project themselves in a certain way, trying to cover their insecurities, trying to figure out who the heck they are and what the heck they want, that you don't have to, don't feel embarrassed. God, don't feel embarrassed. Embrace it. Be happy with who you are. And you know what? If it fails, it fails. But at least you had the balls to even try it. At least you can say, you know what? Yeah, I did fail, but at least I tried. And I went after something that no one else dared to go after. And you know what? That's going to give you confidence as you go through life. I kid you not. Continue to do that. Go for the things you want to do. If you want to sing, sing. Who cares? Even if you're bad at it, go for it, okay? do what you want to do. If you want to ask someone out, the worst they can say is no. And you know what? It just means they aren't interested in you. It's okay. And there's gonna be someone who is interested in you, and you're gonna be a cute couple with them, okay? So you're good. Do what you need to do what you want to do, and take advantage of it and say screw everybody and their opinions. And that was today's episode. I actually had to refilm the second half that you're listening to right now because it somehow deleted. So my voice, I apologize if it sounds a little different. Those were the 10 things I wish I knew when I was in high school. Sorry if I ranted too long. This episode is probably going to be an hour of just me talking. I hope you were able to relate. I hope you got to your destination safely if you're listening to this as you're driving. Or if you're working out, I hope you got those gains, my dude. Woohoo! But again, I just want to say I appreciate you. Thank you so much for listening. It does mean a lot. If you have any really good, I don't know, ideas of a podcast episode you'd like me to do and like talk about, or you have any issues, or you just want to say hi, please feel free to email me at talkingtothewalls at gmail. Talking to the walls podcast, my bad, at gmail.com. Or you can go ahead and hit me up on my Instagram. I promise, even though I'm not active as I used to be, because my life could be a little crazy because, you know, I'm a college student and that's what happens. You can go ahead and DM me. I promise I will answer you at Talking to the Walls podcast on Instagram. And yeah, I hope you guys have a great day. Thank you so much. Feel free to reach out to me. And if not, that's okay. Keep vibing. I will see you guys next Thursday for another episode. Bye.